Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Nick Clegg and his tycoon tax. Oh, if there's one thing I don't like, it's millionairism.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I'm with Emily Dean and Alan Cockerel. Yes, the whole gang are gathered together once more.
Reunited.
Just like, you know, those films when people tear up a £10 note and say, let's meet in 5, 50, 20 years' time, and we put the pieces of this together, and we'll talk about what's happened to us.
That's why I'm here. It's all about the £10 note that we ripped up.
Exactly, yeah, I knew we'd get you back to get those pieces together. So, yes, it's all lovely, and what else?
Well, before we do anything, Frank, I'd like to kick off with some cab driver news.
I'm liking the alliteration.
Yes. I had a cab driver recently posed me an interesting question.
Okay.
We were chatting. I told him I worked with you. I wasn't boasting, I should say.
Sure,
he was dropping me in this area.
You were the one that was
work.
dropping. He was dropping off, you were dropping that. Carry on.
And he said, oh, what's that Frank Skinner like then? Is he worth meeting? Is he worth meeting?
I like that I sensed you were going to do the accent, then you didn't. You stopped yourself.
Is he worth meeting?
Are any of us worth meeting if you ask yourself that?
I'd like people to text in, is Frank Skinner worth meeting?
Well, this is MEE, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, am I worth meeting? I sometimes wonder. Sometimes I meet people and think, did I do enough?
Really?
Did I give them enough? Did I give them a little memory?
Give them a show.
Did I give them an anecdote? No, I don't know if I did. A comedian once said to me, they're happy with just a second sentence.
Nice. Any second sentence.
Any second sentence will do. I've been out on the town, actually.
Oh.
So somebody met me.
Oh.
Yeah, I went out with a friend and we dined out. We went to a restaurant, a posh restaurant.
Oh, lovely.
But with an emphasis on sausage.
Oh.
Which you often don't get in a posh restaurant. I see it more as you know, something you might get in Ed's Diner.
Pitmore Butcher's dog.
Oh, was it posh sausages, though? Was it like veal and venison and all that?
Well, they were all named after... they were all German sausages. They were all named after towns in Germany, and towns and cities. In fact, there was a... I think it's all right to repeat this. There was one called the Nuremberger. And I said, is that just following the side orders? Which I was very pleased with. Those of you who don't get that joke, I suggest you tune into Magic. But the next day, about this is terrible. I'm a professional comedian, I should be over this kind of thing. So I did the just following side orders gag. It went down well, I was pleased with it. I woke up the next morning and I thought, Nuremberger sausage, would just following hors d'oeuvres have been better? Would that have been better?
It's the comedian's curse, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Always got the thought on the stairs where you think you could have improved it. Yeah.
And I thought, well, I can always retell it on the radio and do both.
Yeah.
But then I thought, I thought that would be arrogant in the extreme. But then I thought, well, it's a German sausage, that would be fine, all fits in. So anyway, we got the sausages, me and my friend, and...
Was it just sausages?
No, it came... You know the way German sausages come with things like sauerkraut?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And Kartoffelsalat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can't apologise enough.
Yeah. Yeah. There was Kartoffelsalat galore.
What is that? Is
Kartoffelsalat galore was one of the less popular James Bond women. Kartoffelsalat is... every time I say it's potato salad.
Oh, yeah,
So anyway, we had all this. And my friend didn't eat the sausages. She had like half of one. Wasn't keen.
Oh, dear. She went to the wrong restaurant.
Yeah, and then said to me, completely unironically, it's a bit too sausagey. Now, I saw that coming. You see, I'm no psychic, but I thought, I bet these sausages will be a bit sausagey.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were in there, and it was all lovely. I was having a smashing night. And she said to me, that man doesn't look very well. And we looked across, and there was a man with his head on the table, a bit like that. Have you seen that breakfast news picture this week?
Oh, yes.
They're showing a little bit of VT, and one of the presenters, he's just lying with his face on the desk.
He was copping some Zeds.
Yes, what he was doing.
Yes.
We used to do that at... when I first started school, infant school, Moat Farm Infants in Albury, West Midlands, they used to say about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they'd say, look, we're going to have a little nap now, and you just put your arms on your desk, put your head on.
Brilliant.
And I used to just go off.
Really?
Go
Properly?
Yeah, 10 or 15 minutes, just then
power
wake
nap.
up. Yeah.
That was very progressive of them, really.
We didn't know what power napping was. But some of the kids said to me they just used to look around, like slyly look around. And
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I don't like
look
the sound of them. They
No, I
miss
don't
the
like-
opportunity.
I
for
don't like
that.
people looking at me when I'm sleeping.
Just wake up and there's a boy staring at you. That's
Exactly.
weird, isn't it?
Yeah. And there was 3 compasses sticking in my left thigh, none of which had woken me. And they weren't properly cleaned. And they were always very adjacent to lead dust, let's face it. Because the pencil is only, it's only the length of a compass away.
Yeah.
No, I don't get me started on protractors.
No.
Meanwhile, back in the sausage restaurant...
Yeah, so this man, I felt really sorry for him. Obviously, I feel sorry for anyone who's poorly, but this bloke, you don't want to be poorly in the middle of a big, busy restaurant, because everybody basically stopped talking, and he just became, it was like theatre in the round.
Oh, right.
He was like in the middle table, and everyone just sat and watched this bloke being ill. And he was...
coughing or just...
No, he was just white. He went white, and he just... he looked awful. Anyway, then a medic turned up. I mean, my first thought was to call a waiter and say, what did that bloke eat? Which sausage did that bloke eat? Because that's your first thought, you know. But then a medic turned up in... well, I don't know about you, but do you think high-vis is sort of up in the ante a bit? There's high-vis seems to be higher than it used to be.
Right, yeah, it gives you a headache now.
It's so high. This guy it was all in bright yellow, which for me is high-vis, but then he had those, like, silver luminous bands all over it.
Oh, the panels.
Yeah. He was like a solar storm.
Had he just got off a motorbike? Was he one of those medics?
No, he'd just gone out of an ambulance.
Don't make excuses for him,
I was
Alan.
asking.
Yeah, so they said the place had got a nice ambulance. Somebody said to me. Maybe I misheard them. Yeah, so there was an ambulance. They came in with a wheelchair. I mean, it completely ruined my coffee and cheese board.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, the people who were with this man, there was 4 people. His wife stroke girlfriend went off with him, stroke PA, went off with him. The 2 people left behind, I mean, I hope no one's listening from the party, but they just sat chatting and laughing like nothing had happened after the poor man had gone off in a...
Well, if they knew he was in safe hands, it's not Black Hawk Down, is it, where no man gets left behind?
No, if that happened to Frank...
Is that what happens on Black Hawk Down? I might go there.
If that happened to you, Frank, Alan and I wouldn't stay for the brandies. I might have a coffee.
Yeah. But for everyone in the restaurant were looking at these people thinking, you're enjoying yourself a bit too much now, because your friend's just gone off in an ambulance.
Where's the concern?
Yeah. I don't mind a bit of a laugh, but let's see some sadness in your faces.
Yeah, why have you got 3 after eights in your mouth at once? Your friend's just been put into an ambulance, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think they were after act. They were called in there.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
What else?
Well, you're not the only one with restaurant-based tales, Frank Skinner. I've been dining out this week.
You've both been dining out. It sounds like you've been telling lots of stories. That's
Who the
When
Michael
people- I love it
winner?
when people say, I've been dining out on that story ever since. Have you? How does that work? Right, who told the best anecdotes? Right, you don't have to pay. No, really, I'll pay. No, you told the best anecdotes, we'll split it 3 ways, you're fine. That's never, ever happened to me. And I've always told the best anecdotes.
even if you say so yourself.
I have never, ever dined out on a story.
You see, I like it when someone's getting the bill and the other person goes, they say, oh, let me get this. And they say, OK, well, the next one's on me.
Yeah,
do you do that?
I do that, yeah.
Oh,
before you continue this criticism. Come on, what were you going to say? And then they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm happy to do it, but the next time I see them, I always say, I can't remember who paid last time. I just have a one.
Oh God, you have done that to me as well.
I have one shot at it.
Well, I had what I call a CCSO.
Oh,
They're back.
I hate that.
Do you know what it even is?
No.
It's a credit card standoff, and you get them in work lunches.
Okay.
So normally with friends, obviously everyone's on their best behaviour and doing the whole charade we've just discussed. But in a work lunch...
You go for it if you're with friends, is that what you mean?
Exactly.
Right, okay.
But in a work lunch, it's a bit more hostile, I find. So what happens is the bill comes, and it's on that little saucer. It's always on the little saucer.
I don't like the saucer. The saucer is saying, we don't want this back empty. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
And I had with this girl, it came on the saucer. She didn't reach for it. Well, I wasn't going to reach for it.
Was it just two of you?
Yes.
Oh, dear.
So we sat
that mean
there.
that you've blurred the line between work colleagues and friends? If there's only two of you, surely you've had lunch together, or was it a work lunch?
It was a work lunch, darling. That's what we do in business.
I don't understand the business community.
How do you decide who pays for a work
Well, this is the trouble. You don't say at the beginning, and you've got to. So I thought, because she gestured for the bill in quite a dramatic fashion, I felt the onus was on her. She'd said, "Waiter, check, please," or whatever.
Oh,
she's put a name on it like a defender, shouting, "Mine."
Yeah, exactly. Mine. Yeah, exactly. If you do that, or a cricketer, and you do that, and then you don't catch it, you've dropped it.
Absolutely.
Well, that's what I felt.
Good point.
Not according to her. So we waited. Frank, that 10-minute period with that bill on the saucer, that was the longest 10 minutes of my life. It was absolutely hideous.
You didn't go 10 minutes with it.
It was about 10 minutes.
Just with the clock
on
ticking
about
in the
3 minutes.
like a metronome.
Yeah.
It's not tense at all, is it?
About 3 or 4 minutes in, I suggest scissors, paper, stone. I can't go 10 minutes of that kind of angst.
No. Well, do you know what, Frank? I was cool as a cucumber. I broke her.
Did you?
I broke her.
Really?
She said suddenly, she did it angrily. She got the card out, she went, "I'll get this, shall I?" and threw it down. She threw it on the saucer.
Yeah, but the trouble is, are you going to need to have other meetings with this person?
No, the relationship is over for good now.
Oh, well, fair enough then.
Yeah. I can't go back there.
Zing.
Well, you won. Congratulations. I feel we should celebrate in some way. I'm elated.
Go out for dinner.
Yeah, not with Emily, obviously.
Frank
Skinner
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We've had a few texts in.
Good.
We were discussing sausages earlier. Someone's texted in.
Were we? It is a breakfast show.
It is, yeah. Was the Nuremberger sausage a product that the restaurant were just trialling?
I'm with you. I refuse to recognise it personally.
And also, Emily's taxi driver asked if you were worth meeting. 143 has texted in, "Frank is well worth meeting. Top bloke. Oliver Young, Blue Heaven." Was he in Blue Heaven?
Oliver Young, Blue Heaven.
Did you write Blue Heaven?
I did.
Yeah. Well, maybe he was in
And he starred in it.
Or maybe that's when he met you.
Yeah. Well,
well worth meeting. Top bloke.
Great.
That's you.
Top bloke. That's the name of my new shop that I'm opening.
Top bloke. Yeah.
I think top man is a bit too hoity-toity. Top bloke. Get a nice England shirt.
Did you just do a version of my accent there when you said bloke?
Oh dear.
It's hard not to be fair.
Not deliberately. Don't get sniffy about it.
Frank, can we talk about teapots?
Oh, all right then.
I know.
You start.
That's quite Antiques Roadshow of us. No, but
I love
did you
the
read?
Antiques Roadshow.
Yes,
Yeah.
I thought you
I
would.
genuinely like it.
I knew you would.
I find it quite comforting.
Yes, I knew that too.
I know what you mean.
I
that's
loathe it.
That's because
Absolutely loathe it.
that's because our agent also represents Fiona Bruce, the presenter.
Course, yeah.
So we feel strangely at home, like a stable mate. Yeah.
Well, but apparently no one likes
She wears
teapots
some
anymore.
very almost like knitted tops. I watched her on the news.
Who,
last night.
FB?
Yeah, she's often in the sort of middle-aged man's crumpet lists. Fiona
Right.
Bruce, and she seems like a very nice. I've never met her, I don't think, and that I don't think.
Is she worth meeting?
That's a good. Well, but she had the thing on last night. It was like it's sort of thing you might throw over a horse in cold weather.
Was it a bit Jenny Murray?
It was. It was quite not knitted exactly, but it looked rough, like a rough fabric she was wearing.
Oh.
Anyway,
Linen, perhaps. I'll have to investigate.
I don't think it was linen. I think it looked coarse. Hessian would have been my guess.
Hessian blanket.
Yeah. He didn't make the Nuremberg trials, of course. Rudolf Hessian. He'd already parachuted into Scotland. Anyway, teapots. Back to teapots. Teapots.
No one's buying teapots anymore.
Oh, yes, I heard about that.
Well, I have a good stat for you here, boys.
Oh, I love a stat. I love a teapot stat, in particular.
Yeah. Sales have plummeted by nearly 40% in the last 5 years of teapots.
God. That's quite...
40% in 5 years.
You see, I'd have thought the teapot thing had been going on a bit longer than that. Because when I was a child, everyone who had tea had teapots. Mm-hmm. But then I was a child before the invention of the tea bag.
Really?
I remember tea bags coming out.
Oh, I think you told me this before. That's amazing.
Now tea's in a bag. That was the slogan. But anyway, I haven't used a tea. I've never used one. Do you?
No, I can't bear them.
Oh.
I'll tell you why.
I know what you're going to say. You can't clean the spout properly. There's always a sense of filth. Filth in the spout.
I'm not bothered by that filth in the spout.
Filth in the spout! What did you know? What that song's called? Filth in the spout?
No, there's no song called that.
Okay.
Frank, what does bother me is the last cup of tea in the teapot. I know it's coming, and I know it's going to be grim. It's dark, it's tanniny, it's horrible. It's too strong, that last tea.
Well, you don't have to drink the whole pot.
Well, I do when Al Murray's here and insists on his rider that he has to have a teapot.
Does he
standing
really?
in for
That's
Frank.
funny.
Yes, yes.
In case you don't know, a rider is a bit that you put on your contract with extra demands. I once saw the Kinks rider when I was on the road. And their extra demands included oxygen. It's a time when you say, are we a bit too old to tour? That's what you've got to ask yourself when oxygen is on the rider.
They party hard, those boys.
Yeah.
We're going to need some oxygen. This is going to be one of our legendary nights.
To be fair, this gig was on Jupiter. Just to put this in context.
No, Al insists on it, Frank. He said, what did he say, Daisy? He said something like, she's keeping
Did he say, my pot, my rules? Did he say that? Did he say that?
No.
Okay. Well, I having read this, I feel now I should kind of do my bit for the teapot. I'm thinking I might get one now. Because I'd hate to see them disappear. What about those ones that look like little cottages?
Oh, yeah.
Where does the Cockerel stand on the teapot?
We've got one.
Just above the handle, I think. Ours does.
We've got a massive one, yeah. I stand on it all the time. No, we have a teapot, but I've sort of stopped using it for some reason. And we've got a tea cosy, but it's not knitwear anymore. It's like a firm space-age plastic thing.
Really?
Yeah. And it's almost as though the teapot has agreed with you that knitwear loses its shape and it's only good for one wear, and so it's gone for...
And also I also used to find with the, I don't know what the ones we had, you get the tea cozy, we didn't have the full one, we'd have the one with a hole for a handle and hole for spout,
Yeah.
And they get a bit singed around those two holes.
Yeah.
A bit stained as well.
Yeah, we didn't go for the full one, we went for the sort of the tank top.
Frank
Skinner
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
So I'm fascinated now by this tea bag in cup versus teapot thing, because one thing that is the whole idea of loose tea. Loose tea. I love the idea of loose. Loose in what respect? Freed, liberated from the bag. Is that what we're saying?
As opposed to louche.
Yeah, exactly. Louche tea. What does louche mean exactly?
Well, I've got
that's
my
no
own
good,
views on that. No, louche, I think of it as a little bit sleazy, I think of it.
Sleazy, yeah. But, what's the word when, like, the French people used to be very...
Immoral.
Yeah. What's that word? Sort of... Oh, God. Forget it.
Okay.
Louche. Stick with louche.
371 has texted in, we also have a blue knitwear cosy with hole for handle and spout. So it's good to know that, isn't it? That they've got a knitwear tea cosy.
But who knitted that?
I wonder.
Yeah.
They
was
haven't
it bought?
furnished us with
Was
that
it bought
information.
and knitted, or did somebody... Is there someone somewhere who knits tea cozies?
Is it in those pale blue Man City colours? Because I rather like those.
Oh dear.
We've had another one, 275, come on you baggies.
Is that,
Which I rather like.
is that a tea bag
Yes, I think
celebration?
it
That's
is.
very, very
Oh, is it?
excellent.
I hadn't got that. I just assumed that was a football text.
Oh, did you? I thought it was
Disregarded
tea-based.
it.
I doubt it, because we're not playing today, so probably is a tea bag
It's
thing.
football. It's non-football, right?
I used to be a lot of tension in our house when the tea. My dad used to shout, up and down, up and down, up and down. Because when you pour the teapot, if you pour it straight out, right, just out, it's still a bit weak. But if you pour it and then go back and then pour and then pour,
Right,
then the tea sort of circulates and it gets a bit stronger. But oh god,
Up and down to swish it
up
about.
and down. Oh, God. I'm so anxious. That's what that put me off. My mum, I remember saying that if she could have any item in the world, her dream thing would be a see-through teapot. And she said, yeah. She said the idea. She always used to go on about it. Sort of. I think she liked the idea of sort of being behind the scenes in the tea making world. And she used to say, you know, wouldn't it be great to just watch the tea steadily getting strong? You'd know exactly when it was strong enough.
Yeah.
And you'd be able to watch the...
I wonder if you could use, like, you know those
You can get them
like
now.
filter, like they use for filter coffee. You know the jug that you get on a
I think-
filter
I
coffee.
You can
mate?
get those for tea.
I think you can get them.
Yeah.
I think you can get them
a
nowadays.
teapot with a little window in it. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Just so
She
you can
was-
see
it
what
was-
hue it's at.
I think she once said to me, imagine watching the tea bag swirling like starlings, she said to me. Yeah. People had smaller dreams in those days. Nowadays, with the rise of Britain's Got Talent and the X Factor,
Yeah.
people want to be major, you know, millionaire
wants a Bentley.
stars. Yeah, exactly. Then-
Frank, I've been told off. And a man called Frank, he's another Frank, he says, "Hi Frank, I see you're making another guest appearance on the Emily show."
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I like it this way. I think Emily's brilliant, so I'm happy. So shut your face. Frank. That's my advice. Well, thanks for sticking up for me, Frank, but on this occasion, you're ill-advised. I tell you what, did you used to have this? When the teapot arrived at the table, obviously it's very hot, so what did you put it on?
Oh, a skillet. Did you have a little...
Like a metal?
Yeah, like
yeah,
a-
that's what we had.
did you?
We had. It looked like has looked like it's been made by Isambard Kingdom Brunel. It was like a little really heavy metal stand used to be on the table.
Great.
And it used to go on that.
Yeah.
See, that's all gone now.
And you can
Yeah.
get them made, like, sometimes they're different shapes. Like
Sometimes they have like an internal tile in the middle of it with a picture
Oh, yes,
of a
I've
teapot.
seen that.
With a picture of a teapot, so no one could be confused.
Frank, that sounds very past times. I bet you could get that there.
Oh, yeah.
What's your favourite?
Closed now, I'm afraid.
Oh,
Past
gone.
times. I'm afraid past times is past times. Yes.
As
sorry.
is Wittard's, the tea shop,
Is it?
I think.
Now, you see, that kind of thing,
doubted it
that's
now.
going to cause a share rush. That'll be a self-fulfilling prophecy, because
Think so.
people now with shares in Wittards listening to this will think, oh, I knew those Stephen Fry adverts would bring the company to its knees. Actually, that was Twinings, wasn't it? Yeah. But they did it just by association.
Well, you've just brought Twinings down as well.
Oh, no, oh, God. It's so terrible, the recession. You can't name any
If
company.
only all the
without it.
brokers didn't listen to Saturday morning radio to take their tips.
I know, I feel now we've caused trouble. If you've got us any good teapot anecdotes,
Take up 140 characters or fewer.
yeah, do text us on 8 12 15. We'd love to hear them. And also, I hear Capital Radio is on its knees.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Frank, we're discussing teapots on Absolute Radio this morning.
Sounds like it's part of an advert.
Radio.
The teapot advert.
We really are.
It's Teapot Week on the Breakfast Show.
And we've had lots of texts in on 81215. Andrew says, I have a Dalek teapot. My wife hates it and we've never used it. The tea comes out of its gun.
Oh, brilliant.
Nice action.
See, I like
See,
the
you could have
idea
had
of the
it.
novelty teapot.
It could have come out the socker, because if you'd put little holes around the socker, then it would come out like a watering can.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be brilliant. But
Or a
what
shower
are
head.
they holding it by? Because there's nothing on the back of a Dalek.
No, that
You must have
worries
all
me.
thought that. 'Cause if there'd been a handle on the back of a Dalek, Doctor Who would have had them in no problem. He'd have just been running along with about 6 of them like a man with a lot of luggage. Put me down! Be great if they a speaking teapot, wouldn't it? Up and down!
Up and down.
Up and down! Yeah. So, yes, there's that. That's now. What was the skillet debate?
Well, according to the Cockerel, he says that
I think, according to the Cockerel, could be a great Radio 4 show.
I'm working on it,
Yeah.
even as we speak.
I think you should.
that piece of architecture you were talking about, which holds the teapot on the table.
The Isambard Kingdom bring now
Yes,
teapots
the Cockerel
down.
says there's a name for that, and it is Cockerel.
I'm sure it's called a skillet. But you use one in the kitchen as well, don't you? It's like a
Skillet.
It's
I
almost
know
like
the
a
word.
raw iron placemat.
I'm sure you're familiar with shortening bread, are you? The song.
Shortening bread.
Mama, little baby like. Can you do the voice?
Oh, yeah.
Hold it. Can you do the voice?
Yeah.
No answer. Let's risk it. Mama, little baby like shortening. Then there's a bit that goes, bring out the skillet, bring out the lead. Mama's going to make a little shortening bread.
Well,
now,
that
why
was-
is she going to bring out the teapot stand
No,
to make
but-
shortening bread, whatever shortening bread is?
I think skillet is a catch-all term for a thing that you put hot stuff onto. So you would put like a hot pan on a skillet. So that it
Okay.
stops
You're
you
going
burning
lazy
your
Susan
top.
now.
No, that's a different thing. We've just had another text in with a picture of somebody. People are sending pictures of their tea
We've been
cozies.
inundated, Frank. It's like Blue Peter here.
I don't think there are enough photo textings on radio. I've always said that.
Frank, I bought a teapot in Cambodia. Pol Pot. Oh dear. I should have read the end of that before reading it out, shouldn't I?
Now, that's good, isn't it? Pol Pot.
Yeah. Unless you
all right.
really think about it.
Well, yeah, but you don't want to think about it too long. Yeah. Well, I
I
can
think it's called a skillet. So there.
Okay, well, Sandy Warren was gesturing to me some skillet mimes, but I couldn't quite work them
Oh,
out.
was she?
I know she.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she
She's
is.
suggesting it's a frying pan with her mime.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Don't you think, you listeners, that Sandy Warren does the news? She's a source of information, big time for us.
Definite reference points.
What I would like to know is, you know, when you get a tea bag that's got the string and then the cardboard branding
Yes.
square, that's what I call it. Yeah, the cardboard branding square, which for some reason has often got the corners taken off it.
Yeah.
You know, they take the corners off, like you think,
Health
well,
and
better
safety gone
yeah,
mad,
that
isn't it?
could be one of the children could lose an eye on that cardboard branding square on the tea bag. Is the idea that we're supposed to use that string and the cardboard branding square to tether the tea bag to the handle of the mug?
Oh, I don't like people that do that. I've seen it done.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan.
Aren't there also some tea bags where you can pull on that string and it sort of squishes
Well, it
the
tightens,
tea bag?
it tightens.
It squishes it up.
There is, I've seen that. They're very elaborately... it's like a Japanese bondage movie. The string... Pardon? Oh, no, apparently I can't say that.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Now, can I just say... to
You
the-
are in disgrace.
Can I just say to our wonderful listenership, stop texting us saying that it's a trivet, not a skillet. We know now.
Don't we this.
The
This is
switch
you.
button.
Oh, we've just had quite a few more in as you said that. In fact, we've never had this many texts or
It
emails.
turns out if you really want to hear from people, get something wrong on air.
Oh, you did brilliantly there. I told you, Sandy War's mime was a frying pan.
Yeah.
I could see that
I'm
anyway.
quite pleased by someone saying, Frank, a skillet is a frying pan. The word you are looking for is trivet. I like the fact that they've given you this.
It's me.
I hope that they're
Yes.
listening and giving me the credit for your jokes whilst giving you the credit for my
This is
mistakes.
hard.
That'd be great.
If you'd have seen Sandy War's mime, it looked like Pancake Day in the recession. Somebody having to mime frying pan work.
She could have been good on Give Us a Clue.
Yes, the Cockerel said that the stand for a teapot is called a skillet, as in, bring out the skillet, bring out the lead. But no. What's it called?
It's a trivet.
It's a trivet. And as Warren quite rightly points out, a skillet is a frying pan with ridges in its base.
Well, in a way, we all are. Yeah. Wouldn't there be... I'm going to bring out a website selling these items second-hand called Trivet Pursuit,
Nice.
in which I get Victorian ones and I get my mum's iron out.
Oh.
It's another thing. My mum used to... she had a metal iron. Like, it was iron.
Oh,
It
right.
actually was iron.
And it was
The iron.
was it placed on the fire? Or
She'd put it on the gas ring, on the cooker,
Wow.
and heat it up and then iron with it.
You really
Frank?
are from the past.
I am from the past.
Sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
guys. We've had some updates on the Dalek teapot.
Great news.
This is from Andrew.
Can it go upstairs?
Andrew says, we've just had a look at the Dalek teapot. It's very dusty. The tea comes out of both the gun and the plunger.
Oh, two-pronged attack?
There is a big handle on the back with exterminate written on the back.
Oh, I see what they've done.
The wife would throw it away, but it's worth over £1,000.
Really?
What?
Yes, that's what Andrew says.
Worth over £1,000?
Apparently so.
Wow. That's brilliant.
I don't think any factors stop this show.
No, I'm just thinking, how much is my Cyberman lemon squeezer worth?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've had some...
Hold on.
Oh, I'm
This,
sorry.
at the top of the hour, I have to say, this
yeah.
is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. That's one of my few nods towards professional radio presentation. You can text us on 81215, by the way. Here's the other nod. You can text us on 81215, but... it was not at all professional.
Do you want me to take over?
Sounds... Oh, it's all gone a bit...
12:15. Texters.
Homeless shouting. So, I'm going. 81215 if you want to text us about anything.
You're
You know
going to
the
start
score.
fighting us and then hugging us.
Let us know if you use a cup or a
Frank.
teapot. Still interested. Don't want
I
to know
want
about
to read
skillets
my
or trivets.
text.
Do.
Okay, this is 516 Ruby. I have a tea shop that sells only loose tea. It's not too sleazy.
Not louche tea, no.
No, loose. She says it's not too sleazy.
No.
But we get Dickie Bird in every Wednesday for a bit of green tea.
Umpire Harold Bird.
We keep the Dapsang Souchong under the counter for the more discerning chap.
He comes in for green tea. You see, if anyone in the world drank Yorkshire tea, you'd think it'd be Umpire
Yeah,
Harold
you
Bird.
would, wouldn't you?
I can't see him as a green tea man.
Oh, he loves the loose tea shop.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love Umpire Harold Bird. He was the man who, you may recall, I had a book of celebrities recommending books to read. If you ever read one book in your life, what it should be.
Oh, yeah.
And Umpire Harold Bird recommended the autobiography of Umpire Harold Bird. I loved it.
So, Frank, have you been enjoying Prince Harry in Jamaica?
No?
Oh, dear. Oh, my
No,
goodness.
I think he went of his own accord. He didn't, of course.
He's having a little bit of
But he
a...
didn't go on his own.
I'm calling it a gap
expenses.
year, Frank. It's a bit of a gap year, isn't
no, he's
it?
in the army, isn't he? He's in the army in the way that people in the royal family are in the army.
In the way that status quo are in the army.
No, I'd say status quo are more in the army. I don't know. I sort of think that isn't Prince Harry in the army the way that I'm like an honorary member of the Laurel and Hardy fan club?
Right, okay.
Isn't he? I don't know. I could be wrong. But anyway, he's found some time off to go to the West Indies.
He's immersing himself in the culture.
He is doing that, and I've always found this very troubling. I've been to the West Indies, and there is an obligation for white people to dance.
Right.
Like you think I better join in, or they'll think I'm, disapproving.
Is there an obligation to drink rum and quote Bob Marley, which is
There is.
also what he's
There
thinking?
actually is.
Oh, God, I can't think of anywhere I'd rather go less than Jamaica based on this evidence.
Well,
I
that's
really
it. In
don't
truth, apparently, I have West Indian friends, and they tell me that the West Indians are a very formal, straight-laced and bookish society.
Right.
They only do this for stupid white people.
Oh, good. I wish they'd drop it then.
I think, oh no, we got to do the. I need to do the voice. I need to do the voice. I thought better of it. We got to do the stupid dancing to Bob Marley again. Some tourists have turned up. I was enjoying our extremely formal tea we were having. Dickie Bose. Yeah, so he's out there doing that thing. He wore blue suede shoes.
They were blue desert boots.
They were
You
hideous.
see, posh people do like a pop of colour, I find. They love that. There's always a cravat or a red trouser.
Red trousers. They love red trousers.
Yes, they love that.
Yeah, but what he's thought here is we're going to be dancing, so I'll wear blue suede shoes like rock and roll. He's got it wronger than anyone's ever got anything in his whole life. But I think, having a close look, and I'm not one to advertise, but they look like Clarks to me.
I don't think they were.
I think they were Clarks.
Do you?
Yeah, we know, don't we, from our inside information, that Clark's shoes are basically currency in the West Indies.
Oh.
Hence the song, "Everybody help me out, so me get me Clarks. Everybody help me out, so me get me Clarks. Dum dimmy dum dum, so me get me Clarks." I think you can do the voice if you're doing the song.
Sorry, can I just establish that was Frank's insider information he just talked about?
Was
Yes.
it?
Yeah, well, yes, it's... yeah, so I think someone said to him, as the ultimate gift, really, they've given him some blue Clarks.
No.
He can't have wore them in Elvis, he had blue suede shoes, and he's a bit like Bob Marley. He can't have thought that, can he?
I think a posh friend said to him, "Those look great, man. Absolutely wicked."
They look so good with chinos.
I think that's exactly what happened. I think that's totally what happened.
Oh,
And
no.
surely, if he's going to a hot country, pop some flip-flops in the bag. Like, wear some flip-flops. It's sunny
Exactly.
weather.
I don't think you're allowed to wear flip-flops if you're a member of the royal family.
Or Birkenstocks, German.
Yeah.
Be appropriate, wouldn't it?
Did he
Been fine,
quote
didn't they?
Bob Marley as well, which made me cringe a bit?
Yes, he said, "Every little ting's going to be all right," is what he said. That was a terrible
That reminds me when my physics teacher once said, "So you are able to get into the groove, as it were."
Every
Yeah.
little thing's gonna... He may as well
Horrible.
have gone word up. Oh, horrible.
Yeah, but I say, you do find when you're there that you think, "Oh, I better." I remember dancing to, that "One Love." I danced to that, and they just kept playing the band, and I thought, I better not sit down, or people think I'm racist. I danced for about 2 hours, 40 minutes. I thought I couldn't see. I'd gone blind. I couldn't breathe, and I thought, I don't want to upset these people. I actually thought these people, which of course gave the game away.
Someone's
The greatest
texted
thing...
in.
Oh, sorry, someone's texted in.
Someone's texted in 685 saying Russell and Bromley desert boots. So, bit jarred there, apparently.
Oh, are they?
Do you remember
I'll
that?
have to investigate.
When people got stuff wrong, did you used to say bit jarred there? No?
No. But one thing I do like is... one thing I've discovered from Prince Harry's trip that has cheered me up is that there's a charity called the Shaggy Makes a Difference Foundation. That's good enough for me.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've had some texts in.
Oh, that's good. Hear my chair creaking?
Yes, I can.
If they can hear that at home.
Sounds like Jacob Marley's walked into the studio. Frank, stop doing it now.
Okay, sorry.
335.
I like it when you tell Frank off. I've noticed that before.
He's so acquiescent and sweet with me. He goes, "Okay."
I wish Prince Harry had been in A Christmas Carol, dancing to Jacob Marley. Because if he'd have said every little ting's going to be all right, I think Scrooge would have found that very soothing.
You think?
Yeah. Ting! Humbug! Yeah, it would have been like that. See, that's the trouble. Carry on.
Never been a fan of Bob Marley's music. I know you're not allowed to say it. I just don't like it. Some artists you
Well,
don't.
it used to be good, but it's been ruined by white people.
Anyway,
They've ruined it by liking it. So much music has been ruined for me by other people liking it.
Oh, I have that
I
about
used
Bob
to
Dylan.
I used
Do
to
you?
love Eminem.
Yes.
Oh,
Eminem, I thought he was great, and then everybody liked him. I thought, oh,
I had that with
he
5
can't be
Star.
great.
5-star.
Exactly the same with 5 Star.
Yeah,
I had it with 5. No,
I had it with 4-star. Everyone was using it. I switched to diesel.
Yeah. You're running a diesel now these days, aren't you?
I haven't got it yet.
Oh, haven't you?
It comes end of next week.
Anyway.
New car update. Do carry on.
Okay, so we've had a text in from 335. Frank, what's the joke you told Frankie Boyle that made him laugh for a week? It's in his book.
Now, this is something I've
It's
probably
from
been
Anthony, by the way. Sorry, Frank.
I've been asked several times this. What was the joke you told Frankie Ball when he left for a week? I have no idea.
Oh.
How weird.
Yeah, so I don't know. But I mean, you know, it's great news.
That must plague you, though, not knowing which one.
Well, I shudder to think if it meant Frankie Ball left for a week. It must be the darkest, cruelest thing I've ever said in my life.
There's a certain file of your jokes that you can go straight to look
Exactly.
through. Yeah,
It's probably at best, I don't know. I'll probably think, did I really say that? Oh, my God. And then I'd have to go to confession and again. No, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Someone's texted saying, I bet Prince Harry uses a teapot. What could it be? Perhaps a crown. And other people have texted in pictures of their teapots and trivets, and I'm hoping that we can put them on the Absolute website. It seems a nice thing to do.
I'd like to have a look, because I can't see from this side of the desk, but that's absolutely
The other thing
terrific.
I noticed about Prince Harry is everyone's been talking about his chinos and his shoes, but I think he's one of these rich people that wears sort of fabric-y wristbands.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. When I say rich people that wear fabric wristbands, for the listener at home, Frank's put his arm up. And I have a theory about this. I think it's Harry might think that he's on a permanent, all-inclusive holiday. I think that's everything he wants. He just puts his arm. I'm Prince Harry, and it just comes to him, doesn't it?
Yeah, I bet what he should do, he should always wear an Access All Areas laminate. Because he can do what he likes.
Yeah, totally. It's a free pass.
I think the worst moment of the whole trip was apparently Bob Marley's widow said to him that he will one day see his mother again. I mean, what a thing to bring up to the
No.
Prince.
Oh, no.
She shouldn't have done that.
No. She shouldn't.
I've never liked her. Frank, we've had 2 emails in.
What, Bob Marley's wife or Princess Diana? I won't have any criticism of our Queen of Hearts.
No,
on
I
this
like
show.
tie-dye.
Okay.
No issue with
Do you
tie-dye.
like tie-dye? I bet you don't.
No, reminds me of shops in Camden Town. A bit like Bob Marley.
Oh, yes. See, I think of a papier-mâché figure with shades on over the top of those shops in Camden Town.
Smell of mildew all the time.
Oh, yeah,
Awful.
mildew. Mildew, I should say, is a local homeless man. Lives in Camden Town. Jeff Mildew. Carry on.
You can hear an email about a rocking horse, or you can hear an email about an Australian.
No, I'm going to go rocking horse, as it's one of the great frustrations of my childhood that I dreamed of a rocking horse and never got one.
Wow.
Well, we've had an email in, and let me tell you, it's exciting news, Frank. Dear Frank, Emily and Alan, bit of an odd email, but following your discussion about wanting a rocking horse, I had to write in. When I was young, my granddad made me a life-size rocking horse. I'm assuming that means the size of a horse.
How many hands?
I think he just had the 2.
I
The
see,
horse.
yeah.
Brackets, he was a very skilled carpenter, close brackets. I like the burst.
But I think isn't that a quote from the New Testament?
Which was in his house for his whole life. When he passed away a few years ago and we sold his house, I took the rocking horse here to mine. Since then, I've been trying to think of a way to give it a good purpose. And genuinely, if you'd like it, I'd be happy for you to have it, Frank. It could also be lovely for your kid when they're born. It would be great.
Oh, dare I put a newborn child on a full size?
Oh no, fully supported. I think he's assuming that you would keep health and safety in mind.
We're thinking face and hands peering over the top of a saddle bag.
Yes.
With me in the saddle.
How great, though. But he's then said it would be fantastic to observe the look on people's faces when I whip out the Frank Skinner has my granddad's rocking horse anecdote as well.
Yeah, it's a one-off.
Not so much an anecdote as a sentence, though.
No, but it's a head-turner.
Yeah, he could dine
And then
out on that
everyone will just say, is he worth meeting?
Is he worth meeting?
Yeah. It's a head-turner, as Linda Blair would say.
Now, there is a sting in the tail of this email. Just need pick-up/delivery money, or you could send someone here to Oxfordshire to get it.
What?
That would be great.
That's
You could
fine.
send your assistant, like
Well,
your Alan Partridge or something.
I've
Send
actually
Lynn.
in my
Delivery money?
Oxfordshire. No, that's fine. You get a free rocking horse, life-sized, one-off. Anyway, luckily in my subterranean garage, I have a rocking horse box.
Do you?
Yeah, made for this very purpose. On the off chance,
Some wooden hay at the back.
maybe I could just ride it back.
Just giving it a nudge each time.
But is it like life size, as in the size of a real fully grown horse?
Oh,
Saying
Frank, that'd be amazing.
That can't be right, can it?
Really
Like one of the greats, like Aldeniti.
Like the one from the Danger, High Voltage video. Aren't they on a giant rocking horse? Have I made that up?
I think they are.
I'm prepared to say, if you do pay the money for a delivery van, I'll go and get it. I'll fetch it for you if that's what
Oh,
it
can I
takes.
sit up front in the cabin?
TV documentaries have been made on less than this, haven't they?
No, but I'm trying to remember now. Can the cockerel go and get the horse, or does that mean that the fox eats the hay while you're away? It's complicated.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've had a text in on 81215 from a sad posh person.
Oh,
He feels he's being discriminated against.
right.
It's from, his name is Gaston Devrient.
Okay.
He says, I have to say, I'm deeply hurt about this comment. After all, I presume he's talking about posh people and their colourful clothes when we're talking about Harry. After all, we are normal people with feelings, although we do hide them. We like our pink V-neck jumpers and pink socks. We do send our children to Sandhurst. It is the thing to do, after all. We are a minority, and we are being discriminated. Just joking. Of course we're a bit ridiculous and over the top, but it's all for a good laugh, and we can take it on the chin with a smile.
How lovely. Well, look, I should say I started this show today by condemning Nick Clegg's tycoon tax, because I said it was millionairist. Also, I regularly have a go at the lower orders and the down at heel on this show. I think there was a joke about a homeless person in Camden being called mildew earlier. So I like to think I spread it around a bit. Is it Gaston?
Yes.
It can't be Gaston, isn't that? Doesn't that mean waiter?
No, that's Garçon, darling.
Oh, sorry.
Gaston.
Exactly the sort of thing Gaston and I get irritated.
Sorry, Gaston.
You saw the text messages when I got Skillet and
Oh, can you
Trivet.
imagine? Can you imagine all the French people texting in?
Yeah.
I think he's right, though. I think it's very easy, isn't it, to have a go at the posh people?
Yeah, and sometimes really good fun.
Exactly.
Let's not deny
I
that.
think he acknowledges that.
I mean, some of them are so posh it's near enough a disability. I saw a very posh woman trying to get into one of those train toilets, you know, with the sliding doors.
Yeah.
And she couldn't, she kept pressing the wrong button, and so the door of the train into the cabin kept opening, but the toilet door kept remaining shut, and she practically harumphed at one point. She kind of, really, she whinnied, that's what she did. We've had another good email during the week, actually. 2 more Australian listeners. Hi, Frank, Emily and Holly. Oops. We too listen to the show in Australia. Surprised to learn it's a breakfast show, as my husband Rob and I listen to it every night to laugh ourselves to sleep. We usually miss a great deal of it and have to work out the next night, at which point we slipped into unconsciousness and then listen from that point again. The 2 podcasts usually last us all week. Before you, we listen to The Archers. Now that I really like.
What are they called?
They're called Sarah
Yes.
Eagland.
Sarah.
That's her surname, surely.
What's her husband called?
It's not called the Agland.
You just said, didn't you just say his name?
Rob.
Okay.
Oh.
Sarah.
Rob.
Sarah and Rob, wake up! Wake up! If you don't wake up, you'll miss the next track. Wake up! I think that's probably did it, didn't it?
This is
Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Now, Frank, it was quite a big week for football, I would say. Well, actually, for our friendship.
I can't believe Emily actually. She actually texted me about football this week. Something that has never.
I sent him a
happened
footy text. I said, "Yay baggies,
Footy text.
yay baggies."
before. Yay, baggies!
Did you like it, Frank?
It was, yes, I did, and I enjoyed it very much. What happened, for those of you not interested in football, is I support a team called West Bromwich Albion from the Midlands, and they beat Chelsea, who you will have heard of. And so it was a big deal, exciting and all that. And I had, interestingly, in that game, there's a thing called the technical area. Do you know what that is, Em?
Yes, I do.
I'm using you as my
It's where the gaffer's not allowed to, shouldn't really step out of that.
Yeah,
box.
so outside where the managers sit, there's a little box that they're marked on the grass that they're not allowed to go out of. So the manager of Chelsea, this is slightly out of date now, but he was called Andre Villas-Boas.
Yeah,
AVB he's known as. He was completely ignoring the technical area. He was standing way outside. Now, they have a man called the fourth official, right, who's a sort of referee having a day off. And all he has to do is sit near the managers and say, can you not... And he holds up the board with the things on the times on and all that. It's really is the easiest job. And this guy called Mr. Peter Walton, who is a referee normally, he was there.
His name?
Yeah, well, I looked him up because he was so rubbish. I looked him up on the team sheet.
Really?
And he was just letting the manager. So I did this thing, you know, when you put you cup two hands over your mouth to make a sort of megaphone. I've never worked out whether it works or not. And I started going, the fourth official, Mr. Peter Walton, you are completely neglecting your responsibilities. And he started to look round in a kind of what's going on? And bear in mind, I'm only sitting about 12 rows back from the dugout. And
I like that you said it like the fall.
Yeah, I sort of felt like some massive responsibility that this needed to... Your fear of the Chelsea manager is allowing him to completely flout the rules. And he was looking around...
Did you shout that sort of thing?
I was shouting in great detail.
It does sound like the fall.
Yeah, everything I shout sounds like the fall. He still wasn't doing anything about it, and then other people started joining in.
Really?
Not quite in such a formal manner.
What, in agreement or saying shut up?
No, completely in agreement.
Oh,
because,
good.
Yeah, and it was you are neglecting your duties. It was all stuff like that. It was like being what they really mean by a social commentator. When you actually commentate on something just going on. Obviously, you've got to be careful where you do it. You're all right with the football referee.
Yeah.
Well, I think you have to be careful just generally because you don't want to be a loud voice from the crowd at football sometimes.
No.
Because some of those people are idiots, aren't they?
Yes.
Did you not feel that you were on... I know you were you were in the right, and you know you were, but did you not feel like, oh, I could get drunk on this and really end up that guy... Send him back! I once watched Huddersfield and they'd just signed a player who now plays in the Premier League, and... he was brilliant, got man of the match, but there was a bloke sat 2 rows in front of me all the way through going, he's rubbish, send him back, like he knew what the game was.
Yeah, I know, no, I didn't want to be one of those, but this I felt was a bit different. And also the fourth official is there to be...
harangued.
Yeah, he's harangued by the managers. That's
I'm
his
very
job.
proud of you, actually, Frank.
I've always said that fourth official is basically one of those scratching posts you get for your cat. So the managers, rather than shouting at the proper referee, can just shout and abuse him.
Like a firewall or something.
But I wasn't abusing him. I was saying it in very cold and formal terms. But that thing about people shouting out... I remember a bloke next to us started to shout out something about a player being too negative, and he made the big mistake of making a loud public statement before he decided what he was going to say. And he shouted at this player, and he said, "Oh, Bradley!" He shouted at this player. You're about as positive as a negative Earth.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I should point out, by the way, in the interest of traditionalism, that Mr. Peter Walton is from Long Buckby in Northamptonshire. And I always think referees generally come from places with 2 names.
Right.
Just to hammer home the fact that they were probably the kid who wet themselves at school. So if they came from somewhere like Leeds, they sound sort of cosmopolitan and sophisticated, but they always come from places like Long Buck. I'm sure Long Buckby's lovely, but you know what I mean? A bit more down home. Saffron Walden they might come from, at Merthyr Tydfil.
Milton Keynes.
Yeah, all that. Yeah.
Go right through 'em.
Milton Keynes might be too big for them. Bishop Stortford. I don't know what it is. Maybe if you live in like a small picturesque town, you think, oh, I'd love a job that involved a flag. I could be wrong.
Frank, we've had a text in from Paul. We were talking about...
What, that alien from the movie?
No. We were talking about your soon-to-be, your rocking horse, which has been offered up, if you can pay for the delivery costs.
I'm happy with it. It's still a bargain. I don't know why you're so touchy about it.
Okay.
Don't put him off.
Paul says, Frank, me and my granddad once put a lawnmower engine on the back of a rocking horse. We ran it down the street, but it didn't end well as I broke my leg. I love that irresponsible grandfather, like something out of the Beano.
What am I supposed to draw from this? I'll do that then.
I like the cheeriness with which it starts and the pain with which it ends in the space of a short sentence. It's great.
You'd like Samuel Beckett.
It is indeed. We've had another email in during the week, actually, Frank. It's, hi gang, when Frank says if the good Lord is willing and the creeks don't rise at the end of the show, I always say it with him, which is quite ironic at the moment, as the creeks have risen and 75% of NSW, New South Wales, is in flood, which is about the size of France. That's a big old flood.
That is a big flood, yeah.
And that's from Amanda Taunton.
Well, OK.
So there.
Well, I better be careful what I say. Well, look, anyway, Not the Weekend podcast is available to download from Wednesday. I said that in a sort of a jaunty way.
You said it fast as if you were trying to beat the timing on like a voiceover.
Yeah, exactly. I thought there was a hint of the Dalek teapot about it as well. Mark Crossley is next. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise anymore, Amanda, we'll be back this time next week. I love you all.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute